Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today
Oh, yeah?
into Redpilled in 20s, Unshackle Your Potential. Um,
By Conrad Riker.
by Conrad Riker. That's
Yeah.
right. If you're trying to figure out this whole battle of the sexes thing, like what's really going on between men and women,
Mm.
especially when it comes to relationships or even just succeeding on your own terms, well,
Ah.
this is the deep dive for you. So,
This book is really out there challenging, like all the stuff we
Wow.
hear every day. Like it really makes you think about, is everything we're being told
right.
actually true? Like what are the real um, truths about how people act, especially men and women?
It gets into some wild concepts like hypergamy. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, this idea that women are kind of biologically programmed to look for higher status partners.
Mm.
And it talks about how men and women approach leadership totally differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's break it down. So where does the book even start with all this?
Well, it starts by really taking apart this idea of total equality between men and women.
Okay, and that's everywhere these days.
It's like the rule now.
But why should our listeners care?
I mean, why is it even important if men and women are actually different?
Right.
The book says that understanding that we're just wired differently is really the key to making relationships work.
Yeah.
And to actually getting what you want in life. It's not saying one is better, just
Right.
that we're different.
It's like trying to understand a different culture,
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect their customs to be exactly like yours.
Exactly.
You got to understand those differences to really get along.
Yeah. And the book gives a really simple example. Men naturally have like 10% more muscle mass than women,
Okay, I can see that. That's a real difference.
even if they're the same size.
But so what? How does that play out in real life?
Well, think about it. Historically,
Yeah,
men were the hunters, the protectors, the providers,
right.
because they were stronger.
Not to say women didn't contribute, but
No.
their roles were often different.
Yeah, nurturing, caregiving, things like that.
So are you saying these differences still matter today, even if we don't realize it?
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The book talks about this double bind that men face today. We're supposed to be sensitive and strong.
Emotionally available and tough.
It's impossible.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
The book says it comes from all these societal expectations that don't match up with,
Uh-huh.
how men actually are.
So understanding this can help us break free.
Exactly. It's like realizing that you're being set up to fail
Okay.
and then saying, nope, not playing that game anymore.
I'm starting to see how this red pill thing can be empowering. It's like you're seeing the Matrix, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that leads us to this whole hypergamy concept.
Right, which I think can sound kind of scary
Yeah.
if you don't get what it really means.
People throw it around a lot, but
Yeah.
they don't always understand it.
Break it down for us. What is it really?
So in simple terms, it means women tend to go for partners who are higher up on the social ladder,
Okay.
who make more money,
Uh,
or who just have better genes.
so it's like they're looking for the best possible mate.
Exactly. But it's not about blaming women or saying they're shallow.
Right.
It's about understanding what drives them, and that a lot of it is biological.
So like it's programmed into them to ensure the survival of their offspring.
Exactly. And there's research to back this up.
Oh, really? Like what?
There was this study, I think it was in personality and individual differences,
Okay.
and it found that women are just more attracted to guys who are successful and, good looking.
So how does knowing about hypergamy change how you approach dating?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, what does it mean for the guys listening?
Well, I think it means you got to focus on improving yourself, becoming the best version of you. Not to trick women,
Right.
but to genuinely be a better partner.
So if you want a great partner, you got to be a great person yourself.
Exactly. And that brings us to another big theme, male leadership.
Uh-oh. That's a hot topic these days.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we were talking about male leadership.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It does seem like a bit of a loaded topic. What is the book's take on all that?
Well, it goes way back, like to hunter-gatherer times,
Mm-hmm.
Men were often the leaders back then, the protectors, providing for everyone.
So it's saying that's kind of built into men, like biologically.
Exactly. And it's not about being some dictator,
Right.
but it's there, this urge to lead, to protect, to take care of things.
I mean, that makes sense historically,
Yeah.
but is there, like, proof of that? Or is it just a theory?
Oh, there's definitely evidence. The book mentions, for example, that like 90% of top leadership jobs around the world
Wow.
are held by men.
That's a pretty big number.
But
okay, so let's say that's true.
yeah.
What does it mean for the guys listening? Like, how does that help them in their own lives?
Well, think about it. Your relationships, your work, your goals in general.
Okay.
Do you kind of shy away from leading? Or do you step up?
So are you saying men should try to be more dominant?
No, not like that. It's more about being comfortable taking charge when it's needed, not being afraid of it.
I can see that. So we've talked about some pretty big ideas.
We have.
Hypergamy, male leadership, all that. But what can our listeners actually do with all this?
That's where the book gets really useful, actually.
Okay, lay it on us. What are the takeaways? What can people start doing today?
Self-improvement is huge, like working on your fitness, mental toughness, setting goals.
Okay, that's pretty common advice, though. Does it get more specific?
Oh, yeah. It talks about being resilient, you know?
Like bouncing back when things get tough.
Exactly. And setting big goals. It even uses Elon Musk as an example.
Elon Musk, huh?
You know, wanting to colonize Mars and all that.
That's a pretty ambitious goal. So the book is saying aim high.
Exactly. Don't settle for being average.
I like that. What else?
Financial independence is another big one.
Everyone wants that. But how do you get there?
The book says don't rely on just one job.
Okay, so like side hustles, investments, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Having options, not being stuck if one thing goes wrong.
That makes sense. It's like the whole red pill idea of being in control.
Yeah.
Not relying on the system.
Totally. It's about freedom, really.
Being able to do what you want when you want.
Exactly. Breaking free from that 9-to-5 grind, you know.
Financial independence, definitely a good goal. Anything else?
Well, there's mastering social dynamics, too.
What does that even mean?
It's like understanding the rules of how people interact, not just being likable, but knowing how it all works.
Okay, so give us an example.
Well, you know the whole alpha male, beta male thing?
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. But what does it actually mean?
It's about realizing there's a hierarchy in how people interact and understanding where you fit in. It's not about being aggressive,
Right.
but being assertive, being a leader, having influence.
I see. So it's like fitness, finances, social skills.
Right.
It's building yourself up, right?
Yeah, like a solid foundation. And the last big thing is rational thinking.
Rational thinking. So like being logical.
Yeah, but more than that, it's about seeing through BS. You know, all the manipulation, the emotional stuff.
So like not getting caught up in the hype.
Exactly. Making decisions based on facts, not feelings.
That's important. Especially with all the information overload these days. It's like you need a filter.
You do. This has been a lot, though.
It has. Lots to think about. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking Redpilled in 20s.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it's been pretty intense. We've covered so much
Relationships.
money, social stuff. One thing that keeps coming up for me is this idea of questioning everything we're told. Like all those narratives about gender roles and expectations.
That's a big one.
It's like the book is pushing us to really think critically about all that.
It is.
So what about that whole equality thing? I mean, it's a huge topic.
Huge.
And it gets people fired up.
Yeah.
Where does the book stand on all that? Does it say we should just go back to traditional roles?
Well, it's not about going back to anything, really. It's more about understanding how things actually work.
You mean like seeing the world as it is?
Exactly. Not how we wish it was or how we're told it should be. And the reality is men and women are different.
Not good or bad, just different.
Different, and trying to pretend we're all the same,
Mm-hmm.
well, that just doesn't work.
So it's like trying to force everyone into the same box.
Exactly. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
You can try,
You force it.
but it's not going to be pretty.
It leads to all sorts of problems. People get frustrated, resentful.
Yeah.
They feel like they're failing.
Because they're trying to be something they're not.
Exactly.
So instead of erasing those differences,
Yeah.
we should actually embrace them.
That's the idea. Understanding each other's strength and weaknesses.
Working together
Yeah.
instead of competing.
It's not about everyone ending up the same,
Right.
but having the same opportunities.
Men and women might choose different paths.
And
that's okay.
Totally. And honestly, respecting those choices could lead to way better relationships.
That makes sense. I mean, if you understand that men and women have different needs,
Different ways of communicating.
right, then you can avoid a lot of fights and misunderstandings.
And the book even suggests that traditional roles,
Wait, really? Traditional roles? Isn't that kind of outdated?
well, a lot of people think so, but the book makes the point that when those roles are chosen freely and there's respect, they can actually make relationships stronger.
That's interesting, because we usually hear that traditional roles are harmful.
Well, they can be, for sure, if they're forced on people. But Redpilled in 20s is talking about that natural instinct for men to provide and protect, and women to nurture and care. When both partners are happy with that, it creates a balance. Everyone has a purpose.
It's not about one person being in charge.
No.
It's about contributing what you're good at.
Exactly. And this whole idea can help in your career, too.
Really? How so?
Well, the book talks about how men are often more competitive, more assertive, and that can be a good thing at work.
It's not about being a jerk, but about knowing how to play the game.
Exactly. Standing up for yourself, going after what you want.
I like it. So we've got relationships, career. What else?
The book says that understanding these gender differences can make your whole life better.
Really?
Like, it's about embracing your masculinity, finding something you're passionate about, and using your strengths to make a difference.
Man, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It is.
My mind is blown.
I know, right? It really makes you think.
So we've talked about a lot, but I think the main takeaway is you got to take action. It's not enough to just know this stuff.
You got to use it.
It's like they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Exactly.
This book gives you the water, but it's up to you to take that sip.
It is. So if you want to go deeper, definitely check out Redpilled in 20s. Unshackle Your Potential.
By Conrad Riker. You can find it on Amazon Kindle.
And Google Play Books.
And that's it for our Red Pill Deep Dive. We hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little challenging.
It's all about growth, right?
Exactly. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep pushing yourself to be the best version of you.
That's the key.
Until next time, keep diving deep.